I am with Jojo, who you might remember as Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan at Otakon. Jojo also cosplays as many other characters and is known for tailoring a lot of his outfits.
Yep.
So how did you learn how to do that?
So it started originally me asking my mom to sew things together, and she got so tired of it, she was like, you know what, I'm going to teach you how to do it so you can do it yourself. I started with just basic hand stitching, that sort of stuff, doing my own little things, until I started working on a sewing machine, and I took a couple classes, and then I pretty much just learned everything else that way. Just kind of doing it on my own, figuring out what worked, figuring out, which ways to best sew things together and that sort of thing, just the intricacies.
That's pretty cool. So is that an expensive habit?
I'd say sewing in general, at first I didn't think it was that expensive, but looking at how fabric and thread is and all that sort of stuff, it does kind of add up and hurts my wallet a little bit sometimes. But if you're really looking for, kind of budgeting correctly and that sort of thing, it shouldn't be as expensive as most people say it is. But that's just me.
And so do you do other things besides conventions? Do you do any historic events?
So while most of the stuff I do are anime and comic conventions, a lot of my other hobbies mostly include going to like World War II reenactments and living history events and air shows and that sort of thing, where I portray the young men who served in the U.S. military from 1941 to 1945. But most specifically, the young guys who were in the U.S. Army Air Forces, who were flying planes, shooting down German aircraft, all that sort of stuff.
And the National Park Service contacted you to come to Washington, D.C. today, correct?
Yes. So the National Park Service has asked me to pretty much attend all these ceremonies ever since I went to the first one back in May of 2021. And they appreciate me being there as a volunteer, to keep both the history alive, but also just to help out in ceremonies in general. The one that I definitely appreciated being there the most for was the 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, which happened last year in December, in which me and a couple other people, we were all reading down the names before the main ceremony.
So that's going to be an honor. I mean, you're surrounded by World War II veterans, and especially being so many years later, we're not really going to have that opportunity much longer.
Yeah, a lot of them are definitely starting to get to that age where they aren't really able to go out to these sort of events anymore. A lot of them are reaching their late 90s or even hundreds at this point. So to even have a couple minutes, just even be in the presence of World War II veteran, it means definitely a lot to me, and especially the people I relate with. Especially being a descendant of a World War II veteran myself, it just means a lot to even, keep the history alive.
So where can we find you next?
The next event that I'll be at, I'll just give a list. I'll be at the Maryland Ren Fair later in September. I will be at Tank Farm in Nooksville, Virginia, same month. And I'll also be in Virginia Beach for the Warbirds event.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.